Marilyn Hawes, she's back, and she's ever so glad to be back, aren't you?
Oh, I'm thrilled. You just come back. I mean, I really was dreading coming back because you see the news all the time, you read it, and you think, you know, in Bermuda, I'm not saying it's 100% brilliant. Of course, it's not. All countries have their failings, but the children over there are so, so safe. You never hear of a child being raped. Of course, there are intrafamilial sexual abuse that will always go on everywhere, and that's not right. But you can safely let your child walk around the streets, go to the corner shop, no problem whatsoever. So I went to an agricultural show where it's quite twee, really. It reminds me of the agricultural shows back in the 70s, 80s. And you can literally give your grandchild a $20 note and they go off with their mates and say, "I'll see you in an hour, check in with your watch." And they come back and they've had a lovely time wandering around, being independent. You would never do that. I mean, and I would say three-quarters of Bermuda probably went to this agricultural show. And you would never do that at a county show here in England. You'd be terrified the child being raped behind a tent, and everything. They're so proud of their country. They have the schools out like this week, the schools out because some seaweed has been washed up and it sort of pretty much honks. And in the seaweed, you often get jellyfish. So the children are all out there, school by school by school, sweeping the beaches and cleaning up the rubbish. I think that's very good because, that it teaches them about how to be proud of their country.
Yeah.
And it is clean. And then I met a couple of lovely, lovely black ladies who were working at a golf course. And one of them had just come back from Birmingham. And she was saying, "Wow, God, Blake, wow, baby girl." It was like, you said, "It's so filthy. It's so filthy." I said, "Oh, Birmingham. Oh, yeah, definitely filthy." And I said, "They haven't had their trash taken away for about a year. That looks like it might be coming to an end now." But she said it was just everywhere so filthy. I said, "Exactly." And I said, "I would like you very much to tell, you know, the white people who don't believe anything I'm saying, what you found." And they, why do these people pray in the streets? I said, "Ah." So the Muslims, oh, la, 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 you don't have any of that in Bermuda. They don't have of all the religions, so many churches. You do not see a mosque. You don't see a Muslim anywhere.
Well,
I rest my case.
yes. I mean, we've got to be thankful, and we were privileged in our generation
Yes.
that we could go out
Mm,
without fear, probably
mm,
without favor as well. I mean, this is normal, and now you think twice, don't you?
mm.
Now, there is an immigration problem, especially with the hotels, with the illegal immigrants.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's number one. But it goes beyond that, doesn't it? Because
Mm.
society generally is not healthy. What's going wrong?
Well, I just don't know. Well, I don't know whether it's diet, smoking, booze. I think when people are stressed, they do maybe if they had given up smoking, maybe they go back to it, or vaping, which also isn't healthy, or they're so fed up they want a drink, alcoholic drink. I don't know. It's I think the level of anger and feeling unsettled. And I literally was so grumpy yesterday. I know I'm tired because it's a horrible flight coming back from Bermuda, horrible flight. And you're flying all night. But I was dreading coming back. And when I got back, it just seeing the news just really, really, really wound me up because there was none of this stuff over there.
Did you have a bumpy flight that kept you awake?
No, I quite like it actually. No,
Good.
I did going over. Going over was pretty bumpy, but it is a horrible flight because you leave midnight UK time and because they're 4 hours behind, and then you land at 7 o'clock in the morning our time again. So they bring the food out about 2 hours into the flight. Well, I don't want to eat a meal at 2 in the morning, so I always go to the bar, have a couple of drinks and a couple of melatonin. And by the time I remember us taking off, and the next thing I knew was the captain saying, "We are landing at Heathrow in half an hour."
There you go. Well, it's the place to be if you can afford it. I understand it's very expensive.
Very, very, very expensive.
And this is the problem, isn't it, with the nice places? They are very expensive. And you think, well, why should I have an opportunity whereas other people don't? But if you live in a society, and this is a key question, as long as you got the availability to acquire wealth, I'm happy with that. I'm not happy personally with saying, let's spread it around. Why should people who have done nothing except sit on their sofa
Exactly.
get the
Expect to
same
have
reward
benefits.
yeah? Well, that's
Exactly.
what's happened in the United Kingdom.
Yeah, it's dreadful. It's dreadful. And all this money they keep paying out, again to France, again, wasn't it? Given it again to help with the migrants. That's absolute bonkers. There was some migrants, they had a problem with a boat. I think it was this morning because I was on the Mike Graham show, and he was saying about migrants and these people had got into difficulty with their boat, and the border force came along and let them all go on board and bring them back to England.
Really? Yes. I know we're a soft touch. We've been overtaken by the lefty liberals. And the real danger, of course, is that this has been in our schools for a number of years. It's in our judiciary.
Mm.
It's in our NHS. And I'm going to come on to that now because Finland and the USA have got together for gender dysphoria studies, and they produced some remarkable figures. Now, that's if you want to trans, of course. And the NHS are really on board with this. Well, I can say now, shame. How can you get around these figures? You know, because I've seen other reports exactly the same, but now it's official, both sides of the pond. If you undergo surgery to have parts removed or stuck on, depending on your proclivities, then between 10 and 60% will finish up in a psychiatric mess.
Okay.
Now, that is astonishing. Of course, they will. They were born a boy, born a girl. All the hormones are there for either sex, and you
Absolutely.
go and take things off them. And it gets worse. That's males, by the way. Females vary between 21% and 55%. And they've got serious problems that need a lot of psychiatric treatment. And the NHS are still doing operations and applying drugs that should be nowhere
It's
near
terrible. It's
any child.
absolutely dreadful. And then you've got that, that Zach Polanski. Truly, he needs to be sectioned. He was in the press yesterday saying a man can have a vagina and a woman can have a penis. What planet is he on?
Well, I section the people that vote for him.
So I totally agree with you. I completely agree with you. And he's like the head of the Green Party. It's bonkers. I mean, it's what is wrong with these people? I mean, he's an absolute numbskull, isn't he?
These people that get into a position of influencer have got a lot to answer
Mm,
for.
mm.
They're making a packet of money. Let's be honest about that.
They have to be. Have to
And
be.
they're just gaslighting people the whole time
Mm, mm.
and getting them on board, which leaves us up to the moon. Quickly changing subjects. There's a big race going on. China want to get to Mars. So they're going to be landing on the moon because it's a staging post, they reckon, by 2030. And if you want to know why the Americans are sending people round it, and next year or the year after at the latest, they will land at the other side of the moon at the South Pole because there's water there, frozen water, but you can use it as part of rocket fuel. So you can get a rocket made on the moon that will take you across the gap to Mars. And it's a quick way of doing it, apparently. Fascinating what you can do these days, isn't it?
Well, you wouldn't get me up in one of those anyway. I could not. I mean, I get claustrophobia. I can't even go in a shop lift. I mean, you'd never get me going up there. And Mars, I mean, how long is that going to take?
Quite a few weeks.
Yeah, and how are you going to get this water back? I mean,
Well, apparently they make the fuel on the moon
all right.
and stick it in a tube, i.e., a rocket, and off you pop. But I get excited about things like that. I'm sad, I know, but that's great. I think man should push the boundaries because the spin-off from the space age has been great. And we've had 50 years without doing anything. I think we've lost a lot of the vision and a lot of scientific discoveries by doing that.
Mm,
But it's
mm.
back on board now, which leads us to Prince Harry.
Oh
And we
God.
had this peculiar statement from him saying about fatherhood. The Duke of Sussex said he needed to cleanse himself before having children. Uh,
What?
yes, because of the way he was brought up. What a cheek!
What?
Sorry, King Charles, you're a lousy father, is what he said, basically.
Cleanse himself. How is he going to cleanse himself?
I don't know, probably eating fig jam from his beloved. That's one way I can think of. I did listen. We know that she's a difficult lady, and she's, as all these ladies do, lead us astray, us poor defenseless men. Are you not buying that?
No, but I mean, I wish he'd just go away. He's from somebody that wanted to get out of the royal family and live a more peaceful life. And don't forget, he wants to be out of the royal family. So why is he still called Prince Harry? Why is he still called the Duke of Sussex? Why is she the Duchess? I don't get it. I really
It,
don't get it.
it's the
Um,
brass.
yeah,
Comes with the title, the
yeah.
brass.
Mm, mm. But that still doesn't make it right because they left the royal family and of their choice, and that was one of the things that, and they won't go away, will they? They just won't go away.
Well, he likes his one day in court, doesn't he? But he's had several.
Yeah.
And he's won half of them, so maybe it's a good job for him. But anyway, the saga goes on. No doubt the king, whilst in America and Bermuda, let us say, will not be mentioning to the Donald about the Duke, either Duke, York or Sussex. It's a pantomime, that family, isn't it, really?
Well, it is. I mean, when I was over there, I mean, I thought, being a little country, and the last time any royalty went there that they know of was when the Queen did. When some of these girls and chaps I know was when we went, maybe when they were what, children, and they're now 40, 45. So, but there's no sign. I mean, there was a couple of old ladies on the bus when I was going into town, and they were going on about, oh yeah, Prince Charles. Oh no, 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 Daphne, King Charles, and blah blah blah. Oh, and then Prince Harry. I've had, do you know what? I felt like turning around and saying, "You are talking to there was somebody in front of you here who's actually English. I can put you straight if you want."
Well, yes.
But
Uh,
there's nothing. You would think there's not one flag or anything up yet. You would think they'd have done something.
you would. Let's move on again before we get the blood pressure going. Another stat for you. There you go. One third of Gen Z, Gen Z, if you're in America, don't want any children. Now, we all know the birth rate is drastic, but it's going to be more drastic. These are the parental ages for production, and a third of them
Mm.
don't. And the reason is that they want to carry on partying and enjoying themselves and never have a child that will confine me to the house.
Well, yeah, that is true, but then I don't, I don't, I understand it in one way that, oh, we like our life, and you see your friends going, oh, it's so expensive, oh, it's this, oh, it's that. You wait till you have one, you'll know, etc. I can understand I can understand you might be frightened of it. I can understand that you don't want to bring your children into a war zone. Um, you know what's going on there. So from those aspects, I can understand it, but. I mean, those things can go away or not involve you at all, can't they? You know, and so I don't get it. I do think it's a bit selfish. And you can't keep borrowing other people's children.
Well, I think there's an underlying thing here. We're in a risk-free generation. There's
Mm.
health and safety coming out of our ears. And why should we bother when there's a war going on? Because it's going to affect me, it's going to affect the children. But if you don't get anywhere if you don't risk anything.
No, well, you don't. That's it. That's it. But I think what you do risk is as you get older. And when you I am not saying you have children to look after you. That's not what I'm saying. But you have another generation you can talk to, and it enlivens you and it interests you, it keeps you young, the conversation. So it was really nice for me to go over there and immediately get caught up in the energy of the little ones over there and all their activities that they're doing, and the conversations you can have. If you don't have the children, you can't borrow other people's children.
Yeah.
And it's later on in life when you haven't got them, and maybe you're retired or someone's ill, there's no one you can call upon to say, can you do this? Can you do that? So and so's not well. I, I always remember when I first got engaged, and a friend of mine said to me, "Oh, you don't say ever you don't want children." I said, "Well, I am saying that because I was young then, and I used to sort of see screaming kids in supermarkets, thinking, oh." But then I thought, actually, I wouldn't be like that. I wouldn't be letting them behave like that. Understand children. Uh, People are sort of thinking, oh, I don't want all the screaming brats that you hear on a Saturday morning, blah, blah, blah. But there's much more to children than that. And I mean, and the joy they bring, the joy. I mean, when I was over there, my, yeah, well, the older granddaughter she's 10, and they had this uh school. It was a bit like when you have sports day. It was a bit like sports day on steroids. All the primary schools, including the private schools, all came out and were doing all sorts of races and heats. And she came storming through the 400 meters and won her heat, and now she's in through to the final. And then she's just done yesterday morning. She did the 800 meters. I mean, it is a massively long way. She's only 10, and she won that one and beat her personal best. And the joy and the pride that you feel, you know, you don't really get that at the same level if you're an auntie, you know? And it's incredible stuff that the good, you know this yourself as a dad, the good things that they get are just incredible. They get their degree, they pass the exams, they pass the driving test, whatever. It's like, yay, you get a real buzz out of it.
We had driving tests in Bermuda. I thought it was all
Oh,
automatics and get in there and get on with
far
it.
worse, far worse. The driving test is far harder than here,
Oh,
much harder. It's and it needs to be. You can only go 20 to 30 miles an hour over there. The roads are like this, really crumbly and horrible. But you've got these stupid scooters that 16-year-olds are allowed to ride, like Lambrettas, And there was a boy killed on Saturday night. He was 18. He was only there was a dead straight road there that leads up to the airport, and he was obviously coming down from there. And I think he bashed into a taxi
Ugh.
coming in. That's the fourth bike death they've had this year.
Yes, it's very sad when it's so young. Yeah. Right, I'm going to go to Lidl and Iceland because they've been called out by Sir Keir because they're serving dishes with too much sugar, too much salt, and too much fat in them. And he said you can't do that or do it after 9 o'clock or some strange thing. Now we think of nanny state, don't we, and all this. How careful should we be? Obviously, salt, fat, and sugar are not good.
Well, in moderation. I mean, you see, when you see the chefs, um, you see them put salt on stuff, don't you? When you watch these cooking programs, you
Yes.
see them do a pinch of salt, a pinch of salt, a little, which I mean, I love salt. I do love salt. I'm not a fan of sugar. I don't know which is worse. I think, I mean, either two, not in moderation, is going to be bad for you.
Well, you've got a choice, haven't you? You either die of blood pressure or you die of diabetes.
Diabetes,
Quite simple,
exactly,
really.
exactly. But no, I do like either of the two. I would prefer salt, but I mean, I don't eat cakes and biscuit and chocolate, so my intake on sugar is very low indeed.
Well, don't forget the dark chocolate. That is actually positive. Anything
Oh,
over
it is.
72%. Yes.
Yeah,
Good. Well, it's the nanny state that worries me because you cannot protect everybody all
no.
the time. And the real problem, of course, is mum and dad not educating their children, not staying at home cooking for a certain time in the week. Not saying you have to be there every single hour, a minute to cook for your children, but it's surprising what good management that will lead to. And you have healthy children, you won't have big blobs.
Is that what it's actually right? That's what, when we lived in Berkshire, and we moved down to Sussex, I could remember going down and the kids, the boys were about 14 then, and they went, "Oh, they're all weird down here. They all play rugby, football, and cricket." And my doctor at the time said, "Yeah, well, it's better than being a Berkshire blob and sitting on your computer games all the time." And from that, they have made amazing friends from that sporting activity that they did. And yeah, and that's it's everything in moderation, but that there's not enough exercise. I mean, I'm just in awe of my 10-year-old granddaughter doing this unbelievable, excuse me, 800-yard sprint. I mean, it's incredible. And, excuse me, because it's Bermuda, it's sunnier and all that, weather's better. She's doing the junior 10 and under triathlon.
Well, there you go. That's a
So
tip.
that's five kilometers of swimming. Well, I mean, you can swim around the island, 5 kilometers on your bike and 5 kilometers of running. That's a huge ask.
It is indeed. It's very healthy if it's done under control. Well, there again is control being exercised on what you can eat. Is it again the big controller saying you can do this, you can't do that? I've got a dear friend, and it drives him mad every time people are saying goodbye, for instance. Take care. And he says, no, take risks, take chances. And he's right, because it's all right living till you're 100 and in a blob state, but
Mm.
you don't get the life value there at all.
No, you don't. I would say I'm risk averse. Um, I
I
don't
mean,
want.
I think that most ladies are, let's be honest.
Well, I wouldn't want to go skiing because I'm so clumsy that I know I'd end up breaking something. So there's certain things I wouldn't do because I know I am probably likely to harm myself. But yeah, I will if there's an opportunity coming my way, a life opportunity that I think, oh, actually that might be good. Maybe it might mean giving up this, but maybe this is better. I will take a punt on that. But I won't do anything as a risk that I think can actually physically harm me, that I'm going to break something or, you
Well,
know.
Would you jump out of an aeroplane, no
No,
parachute on?
no, because when my daughter did, she landed badly and broke her ankle landing in a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't get me skydiving or any of that stuff. Absolutely not. No, and that's what I mean. I would never ski. I wouldn't skate. I don't want to cause myself physical harm.
Well, that's a reasonable attitude. I'm going to an unreasonable attitude. We have been noted for our dislike of lawyers. That's not true. Some lawyers are very good and very kind, very gentle, and get right done. But
Mm,
there are many others, and it's increasing both in Spain and in Britain. I know a number of lawyers that were sat back there and they are getting illegal immigrants in the country,
yeah.
either country. They're paid £6,000 plus every time, and all they do is to say, tell them you're a Christian, tell them you're gay, tell them anything, and clearly they're not. Now, that is lying. I would put the lawyers in jail.
So would I. So would I. The human rights ones, definitely. I mean, I can't bear them. The human rights ones, I mean, they really do need to be. I can take them up to Mars.
That's another good
Because I
idea.
mean, they are. I remember doing. I know what was it I did. I did. I used to do a run of conferences, and it was when this Muslim thing was, really raising its head more and more, and uh, I said something on Twitter about, you know, the immigrants coming into the country. This must be going back about 6 years now. And because people were raising the flag of human rights and the shock and horror of migrants coming in, and because I'd said what I'd said just about, I think this is foolish, etc., etc., it's not looking after our people. Um, that particular law firm, their human rights department was getting attacked, but not physically attacked, but just emails. You know what I mean? And I was, oh, we don't think we can use you again because it raised too much issue. But I think, well, you're playing right into the hands of these people. You
Yeah.
know,
Right. We must mention Southport because it's not going to go away. Things are still coming out of the deep dive. We've not got the whole truth yet, but certain things are coming out. Number one is the parents are
mm,
quite rightly being held up there as the
quite.
chief
Oh,
component in this.
absolutely. They should be utterly, they should either imprison themselves or deported. They can't not have known what was going on.
No.
And for what that boy did, and then when you think also, as I say, it was Lucy Connolly that got into trouble over that, wasn't it? I
Yes.
mean, and that is wrong. It's so wrong. But I said today on Mike Graham, I said it makes me laugh actually because with what Lord Hermer did, uh, sort of saying, "Oh no, her sentence stays in place," blah blah. He's actually given her a new career. I
Yes.
mean, she raised £160,000 on GoFundMe, and she's raised money. She's written a book.
Yes. A good
It's
idea.
given her a really a good chance in life.
Well, I'll
So
tell you what.
every cloud has a silver lining.
Indeed. I'll tell you what we should be concentrating on in all this, and that's the failure of the authorities, whether it be police, social services, NHS. And there is a thread going through all this. It's not joined up. If it was joined up,
No,
this would not have happened. People would
no.
have got together and say, we've got a monster here, let's deal with him.
But this is the trouble with prevent. It doesn't prevent. It doesn't work. It's like that girl Shabana. No, what's her name? The one that keeps wanting to come back into the country.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Her. And she was known by prevent. and they don't prevent. They need to change their criteria.
Well, they're so full of DEI,
Oh,
they're
absolutely.
dead. And if you analyse things, look at the 22 kids that got killed in the Manchester
Hmm?
arena.
Yeah,
It has come out that, oh, we mustn't stop that person with the backpack on because he's coloured
yeah,
or
that's right.
black
That's right.
or Muslim. And therefore, we're going to get into problems by stopping them.
That's
If
not
they'd have
police.
stopped him, he could have been stopped, and that would not have happened. DEI
Exactly.
is a
Exactly. I
curse.
mean, hindsight is a wonderful thing, isn't it? What should have happened, what could have happened that didn't happen. But I mean, time and time again, you see these crimes. I mean, if it says lessons must be learned, I shall scream because they're never learnt because people don't turn up for the lesson. You know, um, no, I mean, there's certainly, I mean, it's still in the news every day. It's on Twitter every day about that bloke and his parents. I mean, the stuff he had in his room. Um, surely they must have known.
Oh, yes, yes, there's no doubt about it. And while on the subject, I've got something controversial that'll make a change on it to say. I detect also in this case, Southport, and in others cases, because things don't hang together. A lot of the problem is people in the social services, etc., are working from home
Yeah, well, absolutely,
and they're not combining their efforts with the NHS,
absolutely.
with
There's a
probationary services.
absolutely. I mean, it's always been like that. There's never been any cohesion between them ever. There's always been certain cases that fall through the gap. That it's not co-joined. It really isn't. And even when they meet in the same room, like the MASH people with domestic abuse cases, there's too many people in the kitchen. There's too many people making decisions. There's too much paperwork going round. Then someone goes sick. Then someone resigns. Then someone's on holiday. And someone is stuck in a logjam or forgotten. It's the systems. And that's what creates the gaps. The systems don't work.
Right. Moving on again, let's go to Mr. Trump, who's having a delightful time with his mate, Charlie 3. And they seem to get on well, as do the two ladies. It's what they call soft power. Not sure that I really understand that term. Perhaps they don't either. But it's good to get on with people. Behind closed doors tomorrow is where the knife goes in, I think. And Mr. Trump is put on his notice, and it'll be gentle thrusts of a knife, but it needs doing because certainly when this escaped about the Falkland Islands, now again, the press made far too much of it. Never mentioned in the press in the US, by the way. And here it's a think tank of about 25 people. And somebody being a bit naughty released it to the press. Oh, they're going to take the Falkland Islands on us because we didn't do the NATO bit. No, it's a nonsense. It's the silly season for news come earlier. That will die down because it is not a pattern that will be adopted. Trump is making a fortune out of the crisis. He's a good businessman. Everybody's coming to the US who now have the biggest oil, shale, gas tanks under their own land. And there's about 100 and odd tankers as we speak going that would normally have gone to the Middle East, going over to the US to fill up with fuel. Now, again, we're being misled. Oh, 20% of the fuel is coming out of the Middle East and we can't get it out because of Straits of Hormuz. That is rubbish. A lot of that oil is going to the Far East, so it's nothing to do with us. 10% of that 20% has already been bypassed through pipes, through Saudi Arabia to the Red Sea. There's a lot of speculation here. There's a lot of people making a lot of money. And if the actual truth, which it is we've got to use 10% oil, less oil, that's not going to kill us. That's not going to mean £2 a litre.
Well, which I find astonishing and wrong, is that BP have made, now where was it? I saw it, I only saw it this morning, that BP, let's see if I can find it again. BP have made 150% profit due to this, something like that. See if I can find it. I mean, if there's this going on, why should anybody be, here we go. BP profits have surged by 130% since the US-Iran war raises oil prices.
Yes,
I mean, 130%, that's dreadful.
it is. Next problem we've got to sort out. The Pope and Mr. Trump. And neither of them like each other. And of course, the Trump man did this stupid thing as a joke, putting this picture of whether it was Jesus or not, holding this healing power, let's call it. And that the Pope took exception. And of course, the Donald said, do you realize where the Pope's come from? He was a Democrat, socialist activist before he got the papacy.
Well, he worries me, the Pope, because he's another one like Starmer really, and he's another woke one because he thinks the Muslims and the Christians can all work together. Well, the nice Muslims can, but they're not all nice. But he's another one that is, I think, far more woke than I thought he would be.
Well, the question's been asked, does the Pope want to be overrun by Muslims with nuclear weapons? I suppose that's the bottom line.
Mm, mm.
And, if you're pro-Palestinian, if you're pro-Iran, and a lot of people in important positions are, they've been misled, or is it political? But, the same old question, do politics and religion mix?
They do and they don't, I suppose. I mean, I think you are seeing a very godless government because he is atheist. So stuff is going through based on no principles or ethics.
Exactly. At least the shortened life in euthanasia bill,
Yeah.
he's been tripped up by the House of Lords. Don't get rid of the House of Lords because they come in useful sometimes.
But then the other thing is, I think, which does actually annoy me, is that the king can't wade in because it's political to say anything about the England and the Prime Minister. And yet they want to use him here in England. They want him to go over to Trump and schmooze him to stop the war. Well, you know, they shouldn't. Sometimes it does delve in. It does sort of dive in and cross over. But if the king can't do anything to help out his subjects here and wade in, what's he doing going over to talk about Iran and what have you with Trump? What's he? You can't have it both ways. You can't not do it for your own people and do it for another country. I mean,
Yeah,
he's gone over there and he's like, Trump and his wife are sucking up to them, aren't they? All happy, happy, clappy, clappy, ha, ha, ha. I mean, it's crazy.
it is. And there's been a lot on the web. But do be careful, everybody, what you read on the web. I mean, the half-truths are the dangerous ones. I've seen something this week. The king is going to go to New York, and the New York mayor, who's a Muslim, and they're going to pray together and read the Quran and all sorts of things. Now, it's true that Prince King Charles is going over there, but it's an act of homage about 9/11. He's going to lay a wreath.
Oh, is he?
And of course, yes. But of course, these stupid people get hold of it and make it something. Oh, he's going to get on his prayer mat, etc. No, we know all about the mayor of New York, my goodness me, he's almost as bad as Sadiq Khan.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I mean,
The king has got more sense to make some political object out of this, and he's only going to lay.
there was something I saw today. Sadiq Khan was like all looking forlorn, going, "Oh, the Muslim people here are not feeling safe in Britain now." Well, that's easy, isn't it? Go back home then.
Yes,
Simple, simple. And that's what I say. If you banned halal, they're saying, "Oh, if you ban halal, we will all leave." Well, it's just easy. That's it. And I don't understand. I put this out on Twitter today as well. I don't understand why the RSPCA aren't up in arms about halal because it's so brutal.
it is, but it's the votes. The left want the votes of Muslims, and it is as simple as that. We've got to go. But can I mention danger to life alerts? Now, this is proposed in Britain. I don't know whether it's started yet, but we've had it here in Spain for 12 months. In other words, if it's going to rain, and believe you me, there are parts of Spain that do get
The rain, mainly on the
inundations.
plain, I think it is, isn't it? The
Well,
rain in Spain.
yeah, but I mean, we've got one of these and they come through on the phone when it's a drizzle. And the Spanish, bless them, they don't half panic. Oh, it's an alert. We're all going to die. Let's get inside and die peacefully. And it's been suggested that the Southport stabbings could have an alert. Well, it would have already gone. The damage would have been done. So
That's
it's just another measure
I
of
mean, that's crazy. I
control.
mean, how could that possibly have had an alert? He got out of taxi and he did his carnage just like that. I mean, how
Yes.
is a taxi driver going to know? That's ridiculous.
Lots of things are driven by fear.
Oh, yes.
The pity more
Oh,
of them are not driven by love and good
yes.
things.
Well, that's absolutely true. I mean, it is. I mean, fear is an immobilizer, isn't it?
Yes,
You put enough fear into somebody and they will be like a bunny in the headlights.
yes.
And that's what we need to stop here in Britain. We need for people to come out and be upstanding about what's going on. And we need people to do that, not just sit there and whinge. That doesn't do anything.
No, it doesn't. Well, there you are. The recommendations for everybody. Next time, I'm going to put a pin under her seat so it keeps her awake. Uh,
This is it. Honestly, you can't believe. I mean, it's dreadful, isn't it? I mean, I powered through it yesterday, powered through it, thinking, well, I know I've got to be up for. I've got 3 media things today. I've got to do it. And then I thought, am I bonkers? No, no, I'll go to bed early.
I know it takes 3 days.
It does. It does. It does. And I find also that your whole body systems get out. I mean, I'm like a baby. I need to eat at regular times, and I have a coffee at regular times. So my metabolism gets out of sync as well.
Siestas, the Spanish have got it, a good thing going with the siesta. But be warned, there are serious medical problems if you sleep, apparently, more than half an hour. A quick cat nap,
That's
half an
what you
hour.
meant at night.
Oh no, sorry, in the afternoon, after luncheon, you're allowed a siesta, and don't have it more than because it upsets the body rhythm. Half an hour
It
max.
does. It does. It does. But I have to say, even when I first became a mum, and even now, that is the time. That is my, I would say, lowest energy point. Is like after lunch, I can nearly always. Well, I try not to, but if I was to sit down after that, I will go boom. But the trouble is with jet lag, you just go, don't you? You know what I mean? I can remember when I came back from Australia once, and I had to go shopping. There was nothing around in the fish. I literally fell asleep pushing the Tesco trolley. I went, "Zoom."
Woman in charge of a trolley without driving license. Yes, we're going. We'll see you shortly.
We'll see you shortly.